Hello, Meoni here, and welcome back to another video. This time we're looking at yet again another interview from the press, who got to sit down with Naoki Yoshida, the producer and director for Final Fantasy XIV. All of the rights belong to Gamereactor in this regard, and of course this article was posted by Alberto Garrido. And of course, there'll be a link in the description. Go support the original post. But the thing that got my interest is the talk about Final Fantasy XIV possibly being on a Nintendo console, quote unquote. So let's actually look at this. Okay, so they say it's always a pleasure to talk to Naoki Yoshida, the Final Fantasy XIV director, who recently released the Dawntrail expansion, was back in front of the Gamereactor microphones at this year's Gamescom, and as well as not acknowledging the challenges of bringing the title to Xbox Series last year and Final Fantasy XVI to PC on September the 17th, which is exciting. Can't wait to see people play through that game on PC. They also let us know that Microsoft consoles might not be the last to get the game. Very cautious but very encouraging, Yoshida acknowledged that there's a lot of buzz about whether Final Fantasy XIV will come to Nintendo consoles, and no one can deny from his smile that he's looking at Nintendo Switch's successor, and had this to say. Yoshi P says, "I'm sure that all of the media and our players probably suspecting they really want to have our game release on Nintendo's consoles, but the concept that we have for Final Fantasy XIV is to release our game on as many devices as possible," end quote. Begin of new quote. So looking towards achieving that goal, we are walking towards making progress and are having discussions. So I hope that everyone can look forward to news in a time to come. End quote. So that's an interesting one. It's a little tidbit, obviously, from this 6-minute interview. We're not going to play that because of, I don't have the rights to play that. However, this is interesting. So this entire quote here, the idea that Square Enix is trying to obviously, go multi-platform with their games, which in my opinion is the way it should have been from the start. Console exclusives for Final Fantasy or most games don't usually end up being, console selling games, if that makes sense. The amount of the profit and the player base that can access them is much more prevalent if you have your game spread a lot across multiple consoles and multiple platforms, at least in my opinion. So yeah, this is not really surprising to me. Now, as for the Nintendo Switch, it won't have the capabilities. We've seen before when games on Nintendo Switch have released where they are having to be streamed to the console, requiring you to have an incredibly good internet connection. We're not going to get into it too much, but people who have played games via streaming know that you have to have a really good connection, and if it's anything other than really good, it's not going to work. And it physically wouldn't install, the file size and the graphic options, things like that, on a Nintendo Switch. So it's very clear to me that devs know more about the Nintendo Switch's successor than we do, and obviously there's dev kits probably out there, right? The Nintendo surely would have already got to that point, and there's all sorts of rumors about that being a thing. So perhaps the next console will be capable of playing Final Fantasy XIV amongst other more PlayStation or Xbox quality titles or size of titles. So it's really exciting to me. I can imagine in the future us seeing Final Fantasy XIV on the Trio plus PC, Xbox, PlayStation and Nintendo. In terms of what that offers up in terms of collaboration, I don't know, it offers up everything, doesn't it? If you have like that decentralized access, who knows what kind of partnerships that could open up. Ideally, I know this is like pipe dream, but I kind of want a Smash Brothers with, Final Fantasy XIV characters. That would be pretty badass. And think of the crossovers that would open up as well. But even without all of that, and me just fantasizing, it's a really cool idea to have it on a... Think of the Nintendo audience. If you had all of the Nintendo fans who only ever buy a Nintendo console having access to 14, especially with the free trial. It's one of the best free trials I have ever seen in the gaming industry. That could be quite interesting. But yeah, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But the fact that this quote has been a thing makes me very excited, because obviously, as you know, I'm very pro as many people as possible playing the game I love. So anyway, let me know what you think about this. Obviously, thanks to Gamereactor for posting this, because without that information, we would all be just still guessing. I think a lot of people are trying to, you know, think about the future and not necessarily the present of Nintendo with the Switch. But I'm excited to see what that console, the successor, is capable of. Anyway, much love. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.